All right, so we're here in the middle of a chapter, and we're in the middle of chapter Forgiveness and Healing, chapter 17, and section E, Perception in the Two Worlds. So we're still there. We're not going to do that right now. First, we're going to start with almost like an introduction into miracle principles. Because it's always good to remember that this is a course in miracles. It's not any kind of study in that sense. It is not gathering as much information as you can. It is not using your intellect necessarily. No, it is like this is miracle based. It's like coming to know the miracle, coming to use the miracle, and that's why it's really a nice reminder, so to speak, to read some of the miracle principles. So that's what I would love to do, and then I have a prayer coming up, like as a moment of meditation, a moment of stillness, and that should be sufficient in the sense of then our ears will be open to listen to what is going to be given to us, because we always come together like this in the present moment, receiving what is given to us by our shared purpose, by our joining together as minds and discovering that we're of one mind and letting this one mind speak to us. So, like I said, I'm going to start with some miracle principles just to be reminded of the fact that you are a miracle healer and that you need the miracle healing principles to know, to remember that you are basically the miracle, and it is not something that's going to happen to you. It's like, no, this is what you are. You are the miracle. There's no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. They are all the same. All expressions of love are maximal. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. All miracles mean life, and God is the giver of life. His voice will direct you very specifically. You will be told all you need to know. All miracles mean life, and God is the giver of life. His voice will direct you very specifically. You will be told all you need to know. Prayer is the medium of miracles. It is a means of communication of the created with the Creator. Through prayer, love is received, and through miracles, love is expressed. A miracle is a service. It is the maximal service you can render to another. It is a way of loving your neighbor as yourself. You recognize your own and your neighbor's worth simultaneously. Miracles are thoughts. Thoughts can represent the lower or bodily level of experience or the higher or spiritual level of experience. One makes the physical, the other creates the spiritual. Miracles transcend the body. They are sudden shifts into invisibility, away from the bodily level. That is why they heal. Miracles awaken the awareness that the spirit and not the body is the altar of truth. This is the recognition that leads to the healing power of the miracle. I inspire all miracles, which are really intercessions. They intercede for your holiness and make your perceptions holy. By placing you beyond the physical laws, they raise you into the sphere of celestial order. In this order you are perfect. Miracles are natural signs of forgiveness. Through miracles you accept God's forgiveness by extending it to others. A miracle is a correction introduced into false thinking by me. It acts as a catalyst, breaking up erroneous perception and reorganizing it properly. This places you under the at-one-ment principle where perception is healed. Until this has occurred, knowledge of the divine order is impossible. Okay, so one more. Miracles honor you because you are lovable. They dispel illusions about yourself and perceive the light in you. They thus atone for your errors by freeing you from your nightmares, by releasing your mind from the imprisonment of your illusions. They restore your sanity. So far, the miracle principles. So then I have this beautiful prayer that we're going to use to use in meditation to calm down, to know where we find ourselves. So be with me in this. Peace to my mind. Let all my thoughts be still. Father, I come to you to seek the peace that you alone can give. I come in silence, in the quiet of my heart, the deep recesses of my mind. I wait and listen for your voice. My Father, speak to me today. I come to hear your voice in silence and in certainty and love. Sure, you will hear my call and answer me. Now do I wait in quiet. God is here, because we wait together. I'm sure that he will speak to you, and you will hear. Accept my confidence, for it is yours. Our minds are joined. We wait with one intent, to hear our Father's answer to our call, to let our thoughts be still and find his peace, to hear him speak to us of what we are, and to reveal himself unto his Son. Peace to my mind, let all my thoughts be still. So this is exactly what we're going to practice for a moment, just by becoming still, letting our thoughts become still, and just repeating in your mind like, peace to my mind, let all my thoughts be still. Thank you so much. Thank you for being still with me. It's so great to do that. I love it. So, coming back to something that we never went to, and that is chapter 17, perception in the two worlds. So let me see where we are with that. Like we shared last time that we came together about this, we call it the other day. Like the other day I was sharing with you about the relationships, about the special relationship, about the relationships that you have here on earth, say that as an example, in which you make someone special to live with or to dream about it and think that that will, say, serve you or be your salvation, basically. And also seeing that that is connected to a certain image that you have about what that is going to give you. And discovering on the way that is not really the case, that is not really happening the way that you expected it to happen, but it doesn't take away that you can still be attached to it, because it is gives you some form of safety, even though it isn't really safe. It gives you an idea that you, say, align with the thinking of the world and not being an exception in some sort of way, or whatever your reason is to be attracted to that. So in the Ur text here, it is compared to the two pictures. One picture is then one with an beautiful frame around it, with rubies, with diamonds. At least it looks that way, with all kinds of shiny stuff on it, like totally attractive to the eye, to the eye and to your senses. And the picture, if you really look at it, you don't really want to look at it, but if you really take a look at the picture, it's actually a death where you're attracted to. It's like you have an idea of temporal existence, about something that is just here for a moment and then disappears. The pain of losing the one you love, thinking that there can be something outside yourself that makes you complete, thinking that there's something outside yourself that can make you happy. So that's all what's called death, you know. It's like it will never be what you want it to be. And maybe it doesn't stop you from looking for it. That's okay. It's still your free will. But see, in the word text it is being said that the Holy Spirit is entering into your special relationship. So it's not only with a partner that you can have a special relationship. We discovered last time too. It's like, no, it's also connected to it. You can even have a special relationship with yourself. And having ideas about yourself, about what would bring you salvation, or what would bring you happiness, or what is the best for you. And also maybe connected to this idea of a temporal body that you think that you are. So then there's another picture, and we're, catching glimpses of that more and more. And that picture is a picture in which something is reflected of eternity. It becomes clearer and clearer the more you look at it, the more you start to love it. You start to see, like, oh my God, I can't believe it. That starts to become really attractive to me, to see that the reality of me is not dependent on my image of myself, but on the way that I'm created. And I'm starting to discover how I am created, that I literally have, nothing to say about that I don't have to make myself into something, but that already the completion is there in terms of I'm already perfectly created. I just have to discover who I really truly am. In that discovery and in that, recognition will be my happiness, my joy, my freedom, my peace, my connectedness, my oneness, and all this. So I read in the beginning the miracle principles. Like, these are connected to this too, because since the Holy Spirit is entering into your relationship, you actually have the opportunity to ask for miracles, for like speed ups in this transformation, in this new relationship that you find yourself in this new relationship with yourself too. So coming in a deeper connection with yourself, in fact, by letting your ideas about yourself go. That sounds really interesting, doesn't it? So the attachment to thought and to thinking about yourself and having ideas about it, in which you build up an identity, and took you away from your true self. And in order to experience your true self, you come back to the core of your being, that is completely free of your ideas about it. So that's why we say, like, you don't need your concepts to experience that. You don't need your intellect to experience it. Like, there are tons of things you don't have to do. No, this is really about the undoing of all of that. And the undoing, setting yourself free of the fog that you created around yourself in order to discover who you are. So now today we're going to continue with the sections. We have 5 left from sections from paragraphs, from section E, from chapter 17. And I'm very curious because there's a beautiful gift at the end of it. That's what I love to share with you. That's why I blew it up a little bit last time. It's like, oh my God, what is at the end is so beautiful. So today we will use Bible too. We will use the King James Version this time. And we will read something from John 20. And that's a very specific moment too in the relationship of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. And okay, but first we're going to start with this. So I'll read this to you. So 2 gifts are offered you, like the 2 pictures. Each is complete and cannot be partially accepted. Each is a picture of all that you can have, seen very differently. You cannot compare the value by comparing a picture to a frame. It must be the pictures only that you compare, or the comparison is wholly without meaning. Remember that it is the picture that is the gift, and only on this basis are you really free to choose. Look at the pictures, both of them. One is a tiny picture, hard to see it all beneath the heavy shadows of its enormous and disproportionate enclosure. The other is lightly framed and hung in light, lovely to look upon for what it is. So it's a tiny picture. It tells you something, like almost like if you really look at it, it is a skull or something like that, like it's death. And the other one is lightly framed, hung in light, lovely to look upon, and you can completely see it. It's really great. So these 2 gifts are offered you all the time, in every moment, in fact. Not that you're completely aware of it all the time, but we'll continue and it will be clear for you. You who have tried so hard, in E13, you who have tried so hard and are still trying to fit the better picture into the wrong frame, and so combine what cannot be combined, accept this and be glad. These pictures are each perfectly framed for what they represent. One is framed to be out of focus and not seen. The other is framed for perfect clarity. The picture of darkness and of death grows less convincing as you search it out amid its wrappings. As each senseless stone that seems to shine in darkness from the frame is exposed to light, it becomes dull and lifeless and ceases to distract you from the picture. And finally you look upon the picture itself. Seeing at last, unprotected by its frame, it has no meaning. Well, you had moments in your life like that you discovered that. Like you looked at the picture that you found yourself in, and it was so beautiful in the beginning, but then now you see like, oh, it really fell apart, and it's not at all what I expected from it. It is not at all what it looked like. See, we had moments like that, otherwise you wouldn't be listening to me. You wouldn't be here. So what I mean to say is like you actually were disillusioned in that you could not find what's supposed to be in there. So actually there was sufficient light in you already to discover, wow, this is not working. This is not the way that I expected it to be. And actually, I see the meaninglessness of it. And do I need to continue with that in that way? No. I can say, admit that to myself. Like, oh my God, what am I looking at? It has no meaning anymore. It was so meaningful. It seemed to be like so total value. And now it's falling apart for a moment. I'm not seeing in it anymore what was there a moment ago. See, and that's the same with discovering that you can invite a miracle into this moment in your say transformation, because this is literally like a real transformational part in the book, which is something clarified to you that has to do with your awakening, with your transformation. So discovering the meaninglessness of all that was presented to you as, okay, this is life. Here, take it. It's beautiful. Take a look at that. You want that. You want that. Like, and now discovering, like, no, at the end of my story, in that sense, it is, no, it's dull. It's gray. It's not even colorful. It is not what I want. And seeing that you can come to a whole new vision yourself by, say, inviting the miracle to come to you, inviting that light to come into you, like, the light has come. I've forgiven the world. We did that the other day. It's like, yeah, here's the light coming down. We're actually seeing it now all in a different light. You start to see it, like eyes are opening at last. Like, oh my God, I can't believe how much this has changed in me. See, and then it's not that you have to break up all kinds of relationships. Especially not necessary, that's not necessary. So the great thing here is then all of this is going to be used for your undoing, for your transformation. All of it is going to be used. Like your what first was a special relationship has the incredible opportunity of becoming a holy relationship. So it doesn't stop where you thought it would end. No, and you can be confused by that, by walking away from someone or something, but you cannot walk away from yourself. It's like you take yourself with you anyway. So wherever you find yourself, you will meet the same conflict if you want. So discovering this and reading it back like this, seeing that you get all the support that you can possibly imagine, then there's hope, there's light, there's a possibility, there's a new opening instead of a dead-end road. So that's the beauty of what's being presented here and where you can choose for. So it takes away the fear of thinking that something is going to be destroyed or falling apart, in the sense of that you're really going to lose something. See, and that is never the case in your awakening, not really. So it comes closer to what you really want. So more and more it becomes obvious what is your will, and where you find your will completely connected to the will of God, being at home in Him, so to speak, being at home in Him. E15. The picture of light, in clear-cut and unmistakable contrast, is transformed into what lies beyond the picture. As you look on this, you realize that it is not a picture, but a reality. This is no figured representation of a thought system, but thought itself. What it represents is there. The frame fades gently and God rises to your remembrance, offering you the whole of creation in exchange for your little picture, wholly without value and entirely deprived of meaning. As God ascends into his rightful place and you to yours, you will experience again the meaning of relationship and know it to be true. So you gotta wanna you gotta wanna read this one more time. This is great. See, it is like, no, it's not a picture. It's not an idea. It's not like an present representation of a thought system. No, it's thought itself, like it's creation itself. It's alive. It is not just ideas and images or something like that. No, it is not. It is, when you take a really good look at it, you see it is real. It is extending the love that you are to your brother and seeing that you're connected and seeing that there's a relationship, that everything is happening in relationship. See, and the realization of this is always like right now, it is happening. This is the way that you relate. So all the distraction that you were in for a moment can be taken away. That would really be a miracle, wouldn't it? Like, that's a miracle when all that debris of your thought system would just disappear from a moment, and say you enter into a blaze of light. You would enter into light to see this in a whole different way, but also to see that is the reality of this. That is your reality. That is the reality of the relationship, your total connectedness. See, that fits very beautiful with what we're talking about the other day. It's like the beautiful relationship. The beautiful relationship that we have, like as brothers, is because it is of God. It is your relationship with God. It is like a Trinity. See, and we come closer to the final paragraph, and that, see, Jesus, in it is used like in John 20. Jesus was in relationship too. He was in relationship with Mary Magdalene. Like, you can say, like it was his sweetheart. You know, so he's also one of the first ones who came to the grave to discover, oh my God, he's not there. His body's not in there anymore. So we come to that. So I'll read that to you maybe right now, because I'm getting into it. I cannot wait to do that. and there's a specific reason for it. Because it actually offers us another level of receiving the information, of receiving the experience of joining together and seeing how holy this occurrence is in you, to acknowledge that in yourself. That's why I'm actually reading this too, because it's a beautiful example of how that is exemplified. It is not just like connected to an idea of what you think a relationship is. No, it's actually your holiness being revealed to you and seeing that is your true relationship. But it's not with an exclusion of your brother. No, it's totally included. And that's the beauty of it. Okay, so this is John 20. And we start with the first sentence here. Now the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene went to the tomb early, while it was still dark, and saw that the stone had been taken away from the tomb. Then she ran and came to Simon Peter and to the other disciple whom Jesus loved, and said to them, "They have taken away the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him." Peter therefore went out, and the other disciple, and were going to the tomb. So they both ran together, and the other disciple outran Peter, and came to the tomb first. And he, stooping down and looking in, saw the linen cloths lying there. Yet he did not go in. Then Simon Peter came, following him, and went into the tomb, and he saw the linen cloths lying there, and the handkerchief that had been around his head, not lying with the linen cloths, but folded together in a place by itself. Then the other disciple, who came to the tomb first, went in also, and he saw and believed, for as yet they did not know the scripture, that he must rise again from the dead. Then the disciples went away again to their own homes. But Mary stood outside by the tomb weeping. And as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the tomb, and she saw 2 angels in white sitting, one at the head and the other at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain. And they said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" And she said to them, "Because they have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." Now when she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, and did not know that it was Jesus. So Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you seeking?" She, supposing him to be the gardener, said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary." And she turned and said to him, "Rabboni," which means to say, "Teacher." Jesus said to her, "Do not cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my brethren and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and to your Father, and to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord, and that he had spoken these things to her. Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, when the doors were shut, where disciples were assembled for fear of the Jews, Jesus came and stood in the midst, and said to them, "Peace be with you." When he had said that, he showed them his hands and his side. Then the disciples were glad when they saw the Lord. So Jesus said to them, "Peace to you, as the Father has sent me, I also send you." And when he said this, he breathed on them and said to them, "Receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven them. If you retain the sins of any, they are retained." So this is all forgiveness. So this part I really love to read to you, just because of the connection with what is actually being said, what I'm going to read right now. So the beauty is the recognition of, say, okay, the body is down, so to speak. There's no body in the tomb. There is no body in the tomb. So Jesus appeared to have died, but there was no body in the tomb. He literally resurrected out of it. And then to see that the communication is like happening in a whole different way, in which Jesus says, well, don't touch me, don't cling at me. Like, no, it has nothing to do with this body anymore. Like I'm going to ascend to my Father. That is my reality. That is my true home, just as is yours. So he actually comes with that, but in a totally loving way. That's why I love to read this too. And then seeing that there literally is no, say, material or substantial limitation to him to enter into any place where two or more are gathered in his name, like the disciples come together, suddenly Jesus appears and actually is blessing them with the Holy Spirit. So this is happening. This is happening exactly in this moment, in this text too. So this is then literally happening again for you too. So that's why I wanted to bring this in, because it is really your, say, initiation into literally breathing that in, letting that be given to you to become literally inspirited, inspired to forgive and to see this new picture of yourself and of others. And that's becoming more and more clear, but at the same time it is literally given to you in this moment. So that's what I loved about it and love about it. So here we are, say in AE 16. This makes now perfect sense if you read it. At least it is in my mind very clear. Let us ascend in peace together to the Father by giving him ascendance in our minds. See, that's a whole different kind of direction as what you would expect. It's like, let us ascend in peace together to the Father by giving him ascendance in our minds. We will gain everything by giving him the power and the glory and keeping no illusions of where they are. They are in us through his ascendance. What he has given is his. It shines in every part of him as in the whole. The whole reality of your relationship with him lies in our relationship to one another. The holy instant shines alike on all relationships, for in it they are one. And for here is only healing, already complete and perfect. For here is God, and where he is, only the perfect and complete can be. Okay, so that is given to us. It's like by reading this of the Bible, it's like that's exactly the same happening to the disciples of Jesus by suddenly becoming open to receive this, literally blown into them, like the Father ascended into them, and they recognize together their holy relationship. In that moment, they were completely overwhelmed by all of this. It's like, wow, I can't believe it. I cannot really get it either. It's like I cannot wrap my mind around it while I actually feel that it is true what is being shared here. I think that is beautiful, but also that is the only necessity then at this point to receive this for yourself. So I'll read it once more, just to allow it to receive that. Let us ascend in peace together to the Father by giving him ascendance in our minds. We will gain everything by giving him the power and the glory and keeping no illusions of where they are. They are, and that's keeping no illusions of where they are, not looking for the other picture in a sense and looking for your power and glory there. They are in us through his ascendance. What he has given is his. It shines in every part of him, as in the whole. The whole reality of your relationship with him lies in our relationship to one another. The holy instant shines alike on all relationships, for in it they are one. For here is only healing, already complete and perfect. For here is God, and where He is, only the perfect and complete can be. And see that the perfect and complete can be only here. It's like, well, that doesn't put pressure on you. If you feel any pressure in that, in reading that, then you think that you have something to add to your value, to your completedness. See, and that is, no, you are what completedness is. So the identification with your whole being, so to speak, with your wholeness, is what makes this possible. So this is where you meet and where we actually can join together in our completedness by laying aside everything that seems to be adding to us but actually is not adding anything to us. Like, it doesn't need an incredible frame around it. No, it is what it is itself. It doesn't need anything extra. So you only have to be yourself in receiving that for yourself, not having any other ideas. So in that, you literally enter into your holy relationship with one another, because nothing is in the way. Like, we don't have to attack each other, or we don't have to attack each other to make it work or something. We don't have to fight for it. We don't have to struggle for it. We don't have to, basically we only have to forgive our own ideas about who we thought we were in order to receive this for ourselves. See, and that is not just only a mental activity or anything like that. No, what I wanted to say here, and you see how Jesus is giving that to, say, Mary Magdalene, that she was immediately saying, okay, bring the information to the disciples. Like, she was in action again, instead of holding on to something. It's like, no, it was an actual occurrence in which they all were activated, and that makes it so different. Like, it literally has nothing to do with anything in this world in that sense. Like, you cannot see it, but still you can recognize it by the light in someone's eyes, by the way of the love that they extend. See, in that loveliness, you can, say, melt, if you want. You can melt. I'm using that word just, it's like you can melt into that and actually discovering the holiness of both of you. This is really what the holy instant is. And that does not put any obligations on you. It does not put any obligations on your brother. No, there's nothing that you need to do after that. No, it's completely free to celebrate that. That is all. So that is so different than, say, the social rules that we set up in relationships and everything that comes with that. So that's why there's no overlap between the two pictures, between the two choices that you have in letting your relationship be made holy and enjoy the holy instant with your brother, or thinking that you still have to add something to your relationship to make it complete. So that is so totally different. So thank you for joining me in this, say, initiation, in this revelation of, realization, in fact, of how this is given to you and receiving that holiness for yourself. See, not by putting pressure on you. No, just in all the freedom it is given to you. That is the most amazing part. It is totally given. So thank you for that, for joining with me in that. So I hope that makes sense to you, and I hope that you can, say, if you read John 20 again, It's like, for me, always something happens exactly in that moment. When Mary responds to him, and like you can feel her absolute extension of love to him, you know, she would do anything for him, like completely being open for say the so-called other, but really giving that to herself at the same time too. So that's so beautiful. All right, so this is what I would love to share with you today. So thank you for being present in this class and enjoying this with me. So this concludes our little three sessions of the transformed relationship. So thank you for that. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you.